So I've decided to do the Shakespeare video in the car right before I'm going to go somewhere, and I've just been thinking about doing it for a while, but I haven't gotten around to it just yet. But now is the time. Fortunately, I don't have my Shakespeare in front of me. That's all right. I have all of Shakespeare memorized, or do I? And it's from Antony and Cleopatra. It's when Enobarbus is speaking to Maecenas and Agrippa and describing the time that he uh, witnessed Antony and Cleopatra meeting on the river Cydnus and describing the event. Now, it's interesting. I took notes. I'm not copying it. If you don't believe me, that's all right. I can recite it to you in person. But I took notes to myself to what I should talk about because I thought about it, and it's very important. And it's one of those famous speeches, like "To Be or Not to Be." It's not as famous, perhaps, but it's one of those purple passages that we're all intimately familiar with, but are also integral to the plays. So I already talked about that. And anyway, the point is that there are multiple interpretations of the same lines, and I've actually evolved in my thinking of this speech. But anyway, here's how it is. It's the bond she sat in, like a burnished throne, burned on the water. The poop was beaten gold, so the poop was beaten gold. Um, Purple the sails, and the winds, and so perfumed that the winds were lovesick with them. The oars were silver, which to the tune of flutes kept stroke, and made the water which they beat to follow faster, as amorous of their strokes. For her own person it beggared all description. She did lie in her pavilion, cloth of gold, of tissue, over picturing that Venus where we see the fancy outwork nature. On each side her stood pretty dimpled boys, like smiling cupids, with divers coloured fans, whose winds did seem to cool the delicate cheeks, which they did cool, and what they undid did. So, that's that speech, and I messed it up a little bit, but that's alright. I'll send you the text when I send you the email that has this video. So anyway, what was I going to talk about? Okay, so when I first thought about that speech, I felt that there was a need from Enobarbus to tell this to Maecenas and Agrippa, that he was showing off to them, and he felt this need to tell them because Rome was old and sterile and whatever. But so that's that. So he was showing off. It was just a traveler's tale, and it was made up. I mean, it's not my original interpretation. It was sort of from class. But anyway, I saw a performance of it, and I felt like there was a new Rome, a new method of thinking about these things, and I felt that there was something. It was something magical, something mysterious, and Enobarbus wasn't just showing off. He was telling them not to show off, but to